Your questions about business, career, personal development, and achieving the American dream are more than welcome. Call 855 Makin It, 855-625-4648. Now, back to more Makin It with Tommy and Todd.
You're listening to Makin It with Tommy and Todd, and it's time for Two with Tommy.
Two with Tommy.
Have you made your resolutions for 2017? I'm sure you have. And maybe you were going to join a gym. Maybe you were going to lose 25 pounds, make another 50 grand. Maybe this or maybe that. But one thing that's not a maybe with most of us, and that is that we've already broken those resolutions multiple times by this point in the year. So I want to share with you a few things about resolutions, which is a fancy name for goal setting. I'm going to share some secrets about a goal-setting technique that may surprise you. I've had the privilege and opportunity to meet and observe some of the world's most successful people, and I want to tell you 3 things that I've observed about these super achievers and how they set their goals. Number 1, the super achievers are ahead of the game because they do set goals, which is something that most people don't even do on New Year's Day, or any other day of the year for that matter. The mere fact that you even set goals puts you ahead of the pack. So you need to make sure that you have a vision, a plan, a path to achieve whatever it is you want to do. So set very clear and understandable and very defined goals. Write them down and keep them in front of you. Number 2, start thinking about your goals exponentially as opposed to incrementally. Quit limiting yourself by setting a low bar. Instead of setting a goal to make 8% or 10% more money this year than you did last year, set a goal to make 100% more money this year. Don't set a goal to lose 25 pounds when you need to lose 100 pounds. Set ambitious goals and then go after them with a plan and a vengeance. Number 3, the last thing is, if you're going to be making decisions about life-changing goals, you need to be ready to take on the fight, because it will be a fight, as life's challenges always are. You need to be in the best physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state possible. You need to look good, feel good, and be good, ready to take on the world and win. So make this year where the real you shows up. The year when you refuse to fail, refuse to come in second place, and when you get knocked down, you get right back up and finish the fight, because you were born to win. This has been 2 Minutes with Tommy, and I'll see you at the top.
Deep dive.
We are on our deep dive segment next and discussing why Amazon is so successful. Now, this is a very loaded question. Who wants to start this one?
Well, I've got a real quick answer for you. Why is Amazon so successful? I can answer it in 2 words.
Okay.
Jeff Bezos.
Okay, please elaborate.
All right. Jeff Bezos, the creator of Amazon, knew what he wanted to do from the beginning. He's got some very unique ways of managing his company. He knows about customer service. He knows what the customers want. So he's created a culture where his employees know that they better be taking care of the customers as their number 1 priority. So when I say Jeff Bezos, it's his personality has infused his whole company, which is, one of the leading companies in the world right now.
This guy, so that's the G-rated version of how a company's this successful. But
right.
You don't get the billions and this size just for that. Jeff Bezos is the competitive environment at Amazon. They said that it's very common to see executives throw up there out of a boardroom meeting because there's so much pressure to perform.
Right.
On the customer end, we get the benefit of very high levels of service, but there is a tremendous pressure there. It's like the anti-Google.
Right.
It's a totally competitive environment that makes them win. A little bit more detailed insight is that one of the biggest keys to their success is their efficiency.
Right.
They have a tremendous what's called revenue efficiency. They took at, you look at brick and mortar locations where you have to staff it. You have to staff the locations to sell retail. Amazon said, we're going to go warehouses only and no brick and mortar. Our brick and mortar is going to be the warehouses and no stores, just fulfillment centers. Number 2, they went to off-area locations, very depressed areas where they got huge tax breaks.
Right.
So now they're winning already right there on the typical brick and mortar retail locations. They're just more efficient.
And they're innovative. Those are very innovative concepts in business today.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Their top 2 expenses are their factory and their workforce.
Right.
But they're about 80 times sales per locations than a big brick and mortar retailers.
Wow.
They get 80 times more sales per location
Right.
than a typical retailer.
Right.
So they have these huge economies of scale to negotiate with. And it's hard to gain efficiency in a labor-intensive business.
Right.
Like, we discussed this about being in the education business.
Right.
Much less a retail store business.
Sure.
Just hard to gain efficiency. So they can staff more efficiently. So they can staff people from 12 midnight to 6 in the morning, where a typical retailer, they staff until 9 p.m. at night and they're done.
Right.
So they're 5 times more efficient overall.
Wow.
So this revenue efficiency has kept it in the good graces with their investors.
Yeah.
Despite them having such a long track record of underperforming on earnings.
Well, I think it's kind of twofold. There's the part of getting what the customer wants and the customer experience so right and making it so efficient for the customer. But I mean, to your point, Todd, there have been so many businesses that they might really get the customer right, but if they don't know how to keep their business afloat and keep investors happy, then they can't keep that business running. So it's both sides.
Well, I always want to keep going back to customer service, because if you can keep those customers calling, if you can keep them engaged with you, if they feel you're fighting for them, then they're going to come back and come back and come back. And that's what Jeff Bezos has done. Do you know that as big as that company is, that he gets a lot of the customer complaints himself at an email that he's made public, where you can email him directly.
Wow.
And when he gets one of those emails, he simply puts a question mark on it and sends it to the proper department, and you would think they got a ticking time bomb.
Well,
when
so
they get an email from Jeff Bezos with a question mark.
He's looking at every problem in
and
his
they better
business.
resolve it, and resolve it quickly and efficiently and properly.
Well, let's dig into your point a little bit more, Tommy, about getting the customer right. Now, the other side of that coin is, and Todd, I know that we've had this conversation several times, when the demands of your customer and what your customer essentially wants would put you out of business. So back to what Todd was saying about what Jeff Bezos has done behind the scenes to make his business run so efficiently, he's given this customer something that, 10, 15 years ago, they couldn't imagine in their wildest dreams. He's been able to give them that level of performance and speed and delivery and variety of options, but he's managed to do it in a way that he can make money at it, that his company can run efficiently behind the scenes. It's not putting him out of business to service this customer so well.
Right.
And I think that's a point that people don't often recognize, that you can be so involved in servicing your customer and their demands and what they want, but you got to keep your head looking at the P&L at the same time. You got to keep your head on a swivel looking at both sides of that coin.
Right.
And so also insight into him is that he demands that they work from the customer backwards.
Okay. So what's that
And that's how
mean?
you create value. So they are literally obsessed there on the customer. And they work from the customer backwards.
Okay.
So what they're saying is, they say, put ourselves in the place of that customer in whatever we're trying to sell.
Okay.
And then go backwards all the way to the point to where they purchased.
Yeah.
And before that.
Yeah.
And then you can see the value there.
Okay.
And he's quoted as saying, you better get good at what your customers want and need. Basically, Amazon just focuses better. Mm-hmm. And with well-defined customer value propositions, then teams in the company can work together to design the appropriate profit formulas.
Okay.
But if you don't know very clearly what the customer wants,
Right.
you can't get into the pricing and the profit formulas to make this money.
So that's how he marries those two sides together
Yes.
and makes it work.
Yes.
I think really what he's done is he realizes, in effect, the customer wants everything, and he's been able to diversify his company so that you have thousands of choices of products, and the customers love this. You can get vegetable soup, the 3,000 listings of vegetable soup, as an example.
Yes.
Nuts, over 37,000 listings just for nuts. So they are so huge, and because they're internet-based, they can do this. I mean, they don't have to stock their shelves with 37,000 kinds of nuts.
Right.
They have a picture of 37,000 kinds of nuts.
Well, and to your point, Jeff Bezos, he called it Amazon because he wanted to think of the biggest symbol he could think of.
Right.
And he really wanted to just own e-commerce.
Right.
The platform.
Right.
And they have the unique ability to launch new businesses while extracting value from their existing ones.
Right.
And they keep adapting, and they build a new business model to exploit more opportunities. And so his big move, though, was they survive by diversification.
Right.
They keep doing these game-changing value propositions, and they have this radical profit strategy. And their strategy that really changed them was they gave a multitude of options for retailers, small businesses, and individuals to sell their items. Amazon then receives a portion of the sale.
Right.
So they said, you make your own products. You make everything. We're not going to make it.
Right.
We're going to take a piece of everything you make. It's a multi-level e-commerce strategy, basically.
Yes.
And so you can sell anything on Amazon. It's the focal point of the sale where they're making the money. And so it's about the value proposition to the retailers, not the customer. And you talk about getting $100 from 10 people versus 10 cents from 10,000 people.
That's right.
He's doing that little bit from a lot of people.
And he really created this model when he started on the internet in e-commerce. Success on the internet was very uncertain, and he just had a lack of fear, and he had determination, and he had a vision of what an e-commerce business could be, and then he just executed it. And he's coming up every day with new ideas for this business.
If you think about this is another thing that I heard from Bezos and Amazon. It's something good for people to write it down out there. Identifying value begins with thinking about an important, unserved, or underserved job the customer wants done.
Oh, that's good.
And then coming up with a value proposition to serve that unserved or underserved job that customer wants done, and they don't want to do it. However foreign it may be to your current offerings, you still still do it. To transform requires being built to deliver value to the customer first.
Right.
Are you built to deliver value to the customer?
Sure.
Or are you tied up on all these other things?
Sure.
This is why Amazon's so great. I see it myself.
They always stay one step ahead, too. They always stay one step ahead on that point of delivering value to the customer. What's as everything in the world changes, where's the next value that the customer's going to demand?
They were losing money for so long. And Bezos said, I'm a long-term thinker. I'm not thinking about this small stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what these customers want. And when I go on Amazon and I see the details, that they keep adding to it,
right?
I'm saying he absolutely is thinking about what I want.
Right.
I started out this discussion with saying two words: Jeff Bezos is the reason for Amazon's success.
Right.
The man has a winner's mindset, and winners know how to do one thing, and that is win. And that's what he's done since 1997 when he started out with a little online bookstore. So Jeff Bezos is the reason that Amazon is what it is today.
I heard that they're like poised or trying to take over Walmart as the biggest retailer in the world.
I think they could take over the world.
I mean, it's just getting close.
Yeah.
It's becoming close competition. Well, that's it for our discussion on Amazon. When we come back, it's Making It or Breaking It. You're listening to Tommy and Todd on Making It, Coast to Coast.